Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Beatrice here. In today's video, I want to talk about something that I learned when my mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and that is UTIs, the urinary tract infections. And we're going to talk about misdiagnosis, what happens when you have to take your loved one to the emergency room. So stay tuned, grab your crochet project and a cup of tea or coffee, and let's go. Today I'm going to talk about urinary tract infections, and that's because when my mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, she became very aggressive, very anxious, very angry. She would start to hit the walls. She would scream. She would just be out of control. And there were a couple of times that I took her to the emergency room because I didn't know what else to do. Well, one thing I learned was when you take your loved one to the emergency room because of their maybe psychosis or their psychotic behaviors, the doctors at the emergency room just want you in and out. So what they did to my mother was, okay, they took a urine test and said, oh, she has a urinary tract infection. And the consensus has been and can be that in the older population, the symptoms of a UTI can surface like that of psychotic, just anger, frustration, and an Alzheimer's patient really can't disclose what's wrong, what's hurting. So when I would take her to the emergency room and they took a urinary tract infection, the doctors just immediately said, oh, she has a UTI, some antibiotics, and send her home. So after a while, she kept getting UTIs. Well, I finally took her to her primary care physician, and we talked about that. I said, my mother keeps getting these recurring UTIs. And they said, well, we're going to refer you to a urologist. So I took her to the urologist, and that's where I learned that the doctors at the emergency rooms aren't that knowledgeable on what to do with geriatric patients with Alzheimer's, and to make that determination between what's a real UTI or what's causing the psychotic behaviors. So the urologist, this was in Fort Worth, Texas, and she told me that every time my mother went to the emergency room and they gave her a round of, let's say, 10 days antibiotics, the antibiotics were actually doing her more harm than good. They were killing all the good bacteria in her gut. Therefore, it was just continuous. It was just a perpetual UTI. The bacteria in her stomach was never able to fully recover and heal itself. So the doctor told me, the urologist told me that from now on, she is never to be given an antibiotic, even if she has a UTI. And again, I want to add that a lot of the times when I took her to the emergency room, she really didn't even have a UTI. But the emergency room doctors just said, okay, she has a UTI, let's give her an antibiotic. So the doctor told me never to let her get antibiotics again for any type of UTI. So she put my mother on a 6-month plan of either yogurts or the probiotic drinks, those little yogurt drinks. And I would give her a yogurt in the morning or a little probiotic drink in the morning. To do that for 6 months, no antibiotics for any UTI whatsoever. And lo and behold, my mother got better and she didn't have any UTIs after that. Basically, the urologist was trying to repair her own healthy bacteria in her gut to get it back in sync, sort of like get the yin back to the yang, because the antibiotics truly had ruined that. So I just wanted to put this out there in case you ever found yourself in that situation with your loved one, having these behaviors and then going to the emergency room, don't know what to do. Of course, if you get to the emergency room and haven't already seen a urologist, that to me would be kind of like counterproductive. I would suggest, if your loved one has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, to take them to see a urologist first before going to any type of emergency room situation to help with the symptoms of psychosis that comes along with having Alzheimer's. I wish I'd known that before we started this journey with my mother, but I didn't. So here we are. I'm hoping to at least tell you a little bit about what happened to me and my brother when we would take her to the emergency room. I hope that you were able to find this video helpful, and if it was, please leave a comment below and ask any questions. And I hope to see you in another video where I will discuss the journey of my mother's progress with Alzheimer's disease, and continue crocheting. And I want to see some of those pictures. If you want to post them, I would love to see them. So until next time, see you later. Bye.